Most jazz pianists think they're making progress. They're upgrading their practice, their knowledge, their approach. That seem like good ideas. I've made most of these mistakes myself, and I've watched countless others do the same thing like clockwork over time. So today, I'm breaking down 7 jazz piano upgrades that will actually slow down your progress instead of what you should really be working on. Number 1, playing modern styles before mastering blues and bebop. So they skip straight to modern styles, neo-soul, fusion, gospel, contemporary jazz. But here's the problem. You're mimicking surfaces without understanding structure or where all of that stuff came from. You're not seeing the greater context that makes it all work and the vocabulary and language that makes it work. Modern styles are built on blues and bebop, and that's the foundation. When you skip that, you end up sounding like you're copying licks you don't understand, and you end up with tons of holes in your playing. Blues and bebop give you the core skills, the vocabulary, the rhythmic concepts, the harmonic understanding, everything, which unlock everything else. Master those first and modern styles make way more sense and you'll have a much easier time adapting. 2, learning the beginner standards everyone recommends. This one really grinds my gears. I've seen it time and time again where people recommend complete beginners tunes like All of Me, Misty, Autumn Leaves, Fly Me to the Moon. These get pushed on every beginner as the essential standards to learn first, which I think is ridiculous. But they skip the actual foundation and are much more complex than they seem. You should be starting with blues tunes like Blue Monk, Freddie the Freeloader, Bag's Groove, Billy's Bounce, Cool Struttin', Mr. PC. These tunes teach you what actually matters in jazz. Strong rhythm, swing, feel, good time, articulation, phrasing, relaxed playing. And it's a much simpler form and much more achievable. Yeah, I get it, you want to play the real jazz stuff, but skipping the foundation and easier tunes is just a recipe for confusion, overwhelm, discouragement, and burnout, trust me. The standards everyone recommends aren't beginner tunes. They're intermediate tunes that beginners get thrown into too early. 3, a lot of jazz musicians and pianists think enrolling in a jazz program or expensive training is going to be the magic switch and solution that suddenly makes them good. Programs are tools, not magic bullets. If you're not already practicing effectively, transcribing regularly, and playing consistently, especially with others, a degree or program won't fix that. The school doesn't make you better. Your daily work and practice does. Plus, these days, it costs an absolute fortune. So if you don't have a good scholarship or a full ride scholarship or the finances to afford it, it's not worth it unless you want to be thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. I'm not saying jazz programs are worthless. They have value for the right person at the right time. But if you think just enrolling is going to transform your playing, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and tons of debt. The work is the work, whether you're in a program or not. You can get the same education with good mentors and playing with others regularly, going to jam sessions, studying, and putting in the work. 4, trying to master every style in jazz piano. Jazz is far too vast to master absolutely everything in every style. You cannot be elite at bebop and stride and Latin, bossa nova, gospel, and fusion, and modal, and ballads, etc. And people try. They spread themselves so thin that they never get good at anything. This is also why it takes so long to get good at jazz. So if you're trying to be the jack of all trades jazz pianist, just know that is an absolutely massive undertaking that can take decades, if not a lifetime. So you need to choose. Get really good at 1 or 2 things first, especially styles you really like. Build your foundation there. Then you can branch out with actual skills to build on, not just surface level knowledge of 10 different styles and you're not very good at any of them. 5, upgrading your theory knowledge while ignoring musicality fundamentals. This is a big one. Harmony instruments like piano and guitar, it's easy to chase complex reharmonizations, advanced voicing, cool substitutions, upper structure triads, all the theory stuff that sounds impressive. But it's all for naught if you can't use it in context and in your playing without freezing up. Meanwhile, the time is shaky and rushed, or the playing and feel is stiff, the phrasing is stiff and mechanical, the articulation isn't there, they can't groove, and their playing doesn't sound relaxed. Theory without rhythm, swing, groove, and all that stuff is just math, it's not music. The best jazz pianists and jazz musicians aren't the ones with the most theory. They're the ones who feel the best, swing the hardest, and phrase the most naturally. Theory helps you understand what you're hearing and playing, but it doesn't make you sound good on its own. If your feel isn't there, no amount of theory is going to save you. Focus on and fix the fundamentals first. Rhythm is everything in this music. 6, buying more books, watching more YouTube videos instead of doing the work. This is another trap, especially those YouTube videos that are play-along lick videos that make people think they're improving because they're physically playing along. But most of the time, nothing actually gets internalized or applied to real tunes or actually in their playing. It's an illusion and procrastination disguised as progress. I remember all too well, and I've heard this from other jazz pianists, is that they spent too much time searching for complexity instead of working on fluency. Focus a lot on what I call real playing, which is playing well with what you have, not where you're trying to be, and not using all these fancy things that you can't even pull off in the moment. You don't need more resources. You need to actually understand, use, and apply what you have and sound good. Squeeze every drop out of something before you even think about going to something new. Stop collecting and get to work. 7. Memorizing 100+ standards without learning actual jazz vocabulary. Grinding through the real book, memorizing heads and changes, checking off standards like a to-do list. Now, some players do pride themselves on knowing a lot of tunes, and if you play regularly and are a serious player, yeah, there's probably about 50 or so tunes you should be able to know and play if someone calls one of them. The problem is never really spending time really digging into a tune, not listening to different versions of it, not seeing how different players play over the changes, never trying the tune in different ways or in different keys, never transcribing solos, never trying the tune in different ways, never learning the actual language that jazz musicians use. So you end up knowing 100 songs, but sound like you're just getting by over tunes in a basic way or just making your way through them. If you want to sound like a real jazz pianist, you need to learn how jazz pianists actually play, not just what chords they use and all these hacks. That means transcribing vocabulary, studying voicings, getting your comping voicings together, getting your rhythm and time and feel, knowing how to play a tune in a band format versus solo piano format, how to play the tune in different styles and different ways, and in a few different keys. Standards are vehicles for the language, not the destination. Look, I get it. Everyone's trying to improve, and these all seem like logical steps forward. But I've seen too many players waste years on this stuff. Are you making some of these same mistakes? Leave a comment below and tell me which of these 7 things are you most guilty of right now. Be honest. The path forward is simpler than you think. Master the blues and bebop. Learn the language through transcription. Build your fundamentals. Listen to jazz every day and actually do the work instead of collecting more resources. If you want direct help with that, I have resources in the description below. Practice guides, modes, cheat sheets, how to improve your solos, and programs that'll keep you focused on what actually matters. Check those out if you want a clear path forward without the distractions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.